main event.
It is I, Dave from Dave Knows Wrestling. Although after the trivia round, I'm pretty sure you might get the nose title instead. But for those of you interested, you can check me out over on YouTube under Dave Knows Wrestling. Watch all the different kinds of content I have. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. If you enjoy what you see, I would really, really appreciate it. But now for me. Now, Albert agreed, as we were talking, you and I are two very, very good friends. You are one of my best friends, and vice versa, as I think you know. But there are some relationships out there that are not as wholesome as what we have together.
Well, turn.
Very true.
Toxic relationships in professional wrestling. Now, to make this easier, we're just talking about on-screen. I don't hear nothing about Dynamite Kid or Chris Benoit or none of that stuff. On-screen, toxic relationships, and what do you think is the worst one and why? And to kick this thing off, I'm going to start with one. There's plenty to choose from, but I'm going to start with one that I think is a sleeper. That might be the most problematic, but no one ever talks about it. Rhea and Dom. Think about this. Rhea Ripley manipulated the young, innocent, naive Dominic away from his family, turning him against his father, turning him against his sister and his mother, got him sent to jail, got him arrested. And what happens? What happens with Rhea Ripley, the so-called hero, the one that we all like and cheer? Dom turns on her, gets into a better relationship with Liv Morgan, who appreciates Dom, who is there for Dom. When Rhea used him to gain a championship, used him and manipulated this young man, and then when Dom gets the sense to leave her for greener pastures, and in my opinion, an upgrade, people boo him? The audience boos him for that? When he's just standing up for himself and getting away from that master manipulator who, as we all saw from WWE Unreal, has a weird thing about stuffed animals, which I don't understand. So just pointing this out. And we're not counting the off-screen relationship stuff, but I just want to point out she was married to Buddy Murphy. But, at the time of this, so that's even worse. But no, on-screen only, Rhea Ripley is grooming Dom for her own personal advantages. And then people boo Dom when he finally emancipates himself from that temptress.
That Jezebel.
Grooming.
Jezebel, that is correct.
To be fair,
Grooming him for greatness, though. He's hitting fucking on screen. He's hitting Rhea. He goes to Liv, and now looks like he's gonna go to Roxanne. He's won Intercontinental Championships. He left his father. He's now a huge star.
Mega championship.
He got shit.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. He got his. He nutted.
He got that championship once he was with Liv, not while he was with Rhea.
But he wouldn't have had that confidence.
Hey, imagine if he's with Charlotte, what he would get.
A divorce?
To be fair, though,
It's crazy.
I leave my family for Rhea Ripley too, so I don't blame the man.
Wow.
Hey, look, and I'm also going to point this out too. Even though I did say I'm going to specify an her relationship with Buddy Murphy, I just also want to point out Buddy Murphy tried to get with Dom's sister on top of that. I'm just throwing this out there too.
Payback.
Throwing this out there. But anyway, on-screen worst relationship, most toxic relationship.
I forgot about that. They're trying to get Dominic's sister involved with something. I forget who was it.
Nut for nut. That's after Rey Mysterio lost his eye.
Buddy
Some dark times. The pandemic was rough on all of us.
That was smart though. He could only keep one eye on him, so
Well, is anybody defending the Rhea situation other than what we've heard?
I will say, to Steve's point, I will say that before he met Rhea Ripley, Dominic didn't even have a mustache. He put hair on that young man's chest and his upper lip.
Look, Dave, I'll agree with you to points, but there is a point where you have to say that if Rhea doesn't do that, Dom is probably still the boring guy that was tagging with his dad. She made his career a billion times better.
We don't get dazed and confused Dominic Mysterio without Rhea Ripley.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's just plowing through.
If we don't talk about toxic relationships, I think I'm gonna steal the easy one because I'm gonna steal from everybody just to make it to screw all of you guys over. But I mean, it's got to be Edge and Lita and Matt Hardy in that love triangle, right? I mean, it's real life blending into TV. I was there the day that Matt Hardy came back after he was fired I mean, first of all, just the semantics of the whole situation is crazy. A man gets hurt, destroys his knee, is home convalescing, his best friend bangs his wife, and then he gets fired.
Girlfriend.
Like, that is just, what a horrible situation for Matt Hardy. Just a horrible, awful situation in every way, shape, or form.
And that's what happens when you're not a draw.
I mean, well, look, he got his job back, right? And I was there. I'll never forget. One of the funniest
Didn't get his
moments
heat
ever
back.
is that I'm sitting there, and Matt Hardy comes back, and he attacks Edge backstage. And this guy who's sitting behind me, I'm there in the arena. This guy sitting behind me goes, "That's not Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy was at Ring of Honor last night. He cut his hair. He cut a promo. He doesn't look anything like him anymore." I was like, dude, that was Matt Hardy. Like, we all saw it. It was Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy comes out through my section, runs 4 feet away from us, and I turned to the guy and went, "Are you sure that's still not Matt Hardy?" And he shut up, which is still my favorite story ever. But that's the most toxic relationship in wrestling history.
I disagree.
I'm sorry, Albert. I gotta disqualify you on that one. You can't get DQ on this one, buddy.
How?
Because it's
Because
real life.
all that stuff you mentioned that happened was after they broke up. The relationship was not toxic because it was fine. And then she cheated, and then they broke up. And then he gets married to Rebby, and now has gone broken and gone insane. So if anything, he went crazier on screen after they broke up. I'm just saying.
Fine. Fine. Then you know what? If you want to disqualify that, it's Hulk Hogan because he had goddamn lust in his eyes for Miss Elizabeth. That is the most toxic thing ever. He had lust in his eyes, Steve. I swear I saw him right there. He had lust in his eyes. There's no doubt in my mind that that's it.
There's
right
not
there.
a single person in this room that didn't have lust in their eyes for Miss Elizabeth. So back it up. You weren't? No?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I don't put
You know
my
what?
dick in stick figures. Absolutely fucking.
Well,
Look, she had to get plump. Lex plumped her up before he.
I would have. I would have put paws on
God.
Sapphire before I touched Miss Elizabeth.
oh, that's
Oh, whoa,
now
whoa,
AJ,
whoa,
no, I
whoa,
gotta
whoa.
go back there.
I mean,
Hold
Sapphire.
on.
I mean,
I
come
mean,
on.
I'm saying.
Sapphire had
on
to
it.
push it for the push. That's what you like.
I'm with
No,
you.
preach.
I'd have to look back at
So-
Sapphire, but I was more of a Sherry Martel guy.
Sapphire would have put mouth on me that would have changed my life.
Yee.
This would look bored.
Out of control.
Good fish.
Look, any
Okay, so,
any woman can make polka dots look fuckable. I'm in. But I'm gonna
She
take
did
one.
not.
I'm gonna take one here that I think is grossly overlooked. It on camera presented itself as so wholesome, as so good, as oh, look at these two getting together. It is Spike Dudley and Molly Holly. Because every time
Underappreciated.
Spike turned around, he had to defend this lady's honor, getting his ass kicked. Do you remember? He pulled Kurt Angle out in one of the first one-shots I remember seeing in the history of wrestling production, at least for WWE. Dragged him from the outside to the point where Kurt Angle's smiling behind him, drags him out to defend his honor, and then he beat the fucking brakes off him for 7 minutes. How many times did he get in trouble for that heifer, for lack of a better term?
Hey now.
No, she's a wonderful performer, wonderful person.
I was one of the first women to bring cake to the WWE.
Yeah,
That's true.
not
But
wrong.
then, you know, I actually did not think
Take
of
the
it that
Molly
way.
go
You're
round
right.
right now.
Boy, Spike just got the crap kicked out of him for
All
just
the
for dating her.
time.
That's a great call. I never thought about it that way.
You know, at some point you're like, could you please cover up? I can't. I'm still my kidneys still have blood. I'm still peeing blood. Just why are you wearing a halter top and short shorts to the arena?
She would just be sitting there and catering.
always eating popsicle sticks or whatever. Just phallic foods. Like why are you eating a whole banana that way? You could cut it up.
Look, say what you want, but that SmackDown Know Your Role loading screen. We know what's
Listen, there are a
up.
lot of.
We know what's up.
Man's bringing in the loading screen.
We know what's up.
I'm with him. No, I get it. I was there.
All right, Harry, you got one?
I got a bunch of them, man, because I wanted to talk about. Well, I mean, are we talking about relationships that seem okay, but they're actually toxic? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
That seem well. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do one that's a bit of a hot take. When everyone talked about how jealous Mark Merrow was that Sable was getting attention. You know, this is. You know, this is my business. This is my workplace. You come here dressed like that with no top on. I mean, I work with these people all day. You know, then you're posing for Playboy. Like, what you know, I got to work with these people. I know they're skeeting to you in the locker room. Everyone wants me to get you to sign the copies. This is
Skeeting.
how do you think that helps me? You know, so everyone say, "Oh, he's jealous. He's trying to cover up." Yeah, hey.
Did you imagine at 9:41 on a Wednesday night in our 40s, you would say, "Skeeting to this"?
I was trying to find a much more contemporary term. I mean, we're not regulated by the FCC, but as a broadcaster, jerking off, I felt would be, you know, what kind of wrestling show are we doing here?
Right?
You know, but that's the best I could come with. Gooning is the new term, I think. So gooning,
yes.
I got all these guys in the locker room here. I got DX on one side gooning for you. I got Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Oh,
It's so weird over here.
Rice.
I do always like how in the WWE every boyfriend was the heel for not wanting his girlfriend to pose naked for a magazine. Like that always made me like. I was like, I mean, I kind of get Santino Marella not wanting Maria to pose. Like, if I'm Santino, I don't want everybody to see my girl's boobs. I'm kind of with them. Like, I kind of understand, but I do like it from the outsider perspective. None of us are him, so we're all like, nah, screw that guy.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's
Here's the way I
insecure.
look at it. I'm the kind of guy that is okay if you look at my girl, as long as you don't look too long. It's okay if you look at my girl because you know what? You got the dream and I got the reality.
Wait, she's not a piece of steak that fell on the floor. There's no 5-second rule.
Right, but there's the 5-second rule. You can't be like,
Yeah, you ain't drooling. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
yo, when I'm with a bad chick, and so drop my phone too. When I'm with a bad chick, right, and somebody's looking, and I look back because I know she got a fatty behind her, I give him the. I want him to know that.
That's me.
well,
right
yeah,
there.
but that's the end of it. But that should be the end of it right there.
Right. Good looking, bro. Thanks for looking, but I'm taking this home to do everything that you imagined.
Right.
I'm just saying, you show up. You go to the trainer's room to get some athletic tape, and there's a centerfold of your lady there with,
That's the
you know,
difference. Yeah, that's the difference.
a cock and bullocks drawn around the.
You know what? There's a lot. This is where we go back to the Roger discussion in the beginning, right? There's a lot of things in pro wrestling that are like, you know, in real life, this is probably like really sexual harassment.
Oh, sure, all of it. The whole.
I
Yeah.
think there's actually a case litigating right now to determine whether or not that is exactly what it was.
On screen only. Well, Tristen.
I can't
So what you got for this?
personally, I can't believe my ears. I can't believe I'm hearing all these toxic relationships, and not one person has brought up the single most toxic relationship.
But you don't know who I'm going to say. I might be saying
who are
what
you
you're
going
going
to
to
say?
say. I was going to say Mark Henry and Mae Young.
Nope, that's
Oh,
not it.
that's literally what I was gonna say.
No, that seemed very loving to me. They seemed that were both consensual.
Yeah, he was
and-
fucking. He was
Mark
hitting.
Henry was a 20-something-year-old guy. He manipulated somebody's grandmother, and she gave
I
birth.
don't know if he was
No. You got this
No,
all
you got
wrong.
it,
She was trying to get that.
Cougar Town over here.
Mark
6
Henry-
seasons in a movie.
She wanted, but you know what though, right?
The hand was white. I'm just pointing that out.
Steve got me. I'm on my kick right now, so I'm glad Steve.
Same. I got you.
Maybe I looked up, but maybe Mae Young had strong genes. Maybe that's why it was the white hand.
Look,
May, that's why it took 9 years to kill her.
Mae Young had a pussy like a cinder block, I bet.
boy.
She was there.
Yeah,
That's the world's strongest man. So she gotta come correct.
She had the world's most tolerable walls. That's
Right,
what-
because
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
giving her the world's strongest slam every night.
There you go. AJ, you had one?
I love it
Yeah.
so much.
I did have one, and I feel that this might be the nuclear bomb, right? So,
Oh, no.
so Dave had mentioned toxic relationships, and I get the natural inclination to say, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, but there are other facets of relationships,
Okay.
much like a family.
Yup.
And who has been more toxic
And the
in
McMahon
the
family.
world of professional wrestling than the entire fucking McMahon family?
Yep.
That's true.
The drama, the fuck, and I say this, that people have been saying overappreciated, underappreciated. I think this is right where it belongs, the level of attention that it gets. But that was the level of toxicity that we banked on every week.
True.
every week we wanted to see just how fucking toxic it'll get. Can it get any more toxic than this?
Vince McMahon made out with a woman in front of his wife in a wheelchair.
After he
Whoa.
After he drugged her.
She was a
This doesn't get more
zombie.
toxic
She
than
was
that,
a
man.
zombie. It didn't count. She was a zombie.
For the record, there is a storyline that was turned down
Oh, I heard about this.
where Steph was the one that turned it down. Vince wanted to run an angle where Vince had impregnated Steph. That's how bad this family.
On screen.
On screen, yes. We're only talking on screen.
On screen.
The chat, by the way,
now.
the amazing VHS shout out and shout out to everybody who's been listening and watching so far. Said Eddie in China. I don't know if anybody had Eddie in China on their list,
Good.
but that's a pretty good one.
I didn't have
Heat, man.
I didn't have Eddie in China, but I did have, because somebody brought up Edge before. But to me, the most toxic one was when Edge was with Vicky Guerrero, where this guy is this younger man is banging the widow of a Hall of Famer in order to advance his career.
And Alicia, the wedding planner, Alicia Fox on the side.
Right.
That doesn't seem toxic. That seems smart. I don't know. That's just
But
me.
thought there was-
Vicky has manipulated a lot of men too, if you think about it. I mean, I'm just saying, she ain't necessarily innocent.
Excuse
Ziggler did so
me?
afterwards.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you heard. That stutter?
Excuse me?
Fight.
Well,
Fight.
If we're doing that one, we got to go Dawn Marie with Tori
Al
Wilson's
Wilson.
dad, Al Wilson.
That is a good one. So who hasn't thrown one in?
Okay, fine. Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. In shoot and on TV, both.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, elaborate, Tristan. Tell me.
All right, so fine. The guy was upset that Hulk Hogan was, loving
Hanging around too much.
or saving her and stuff like that. And Macho Man destroyed the Mega Powers, and they had a whole entire fight. And
Saving her. He abandoned his best friend and
This
get beat up
fucking
by
guy.
two guys that were 300 pounds and picked up his girl and brought her backstage. He
Bro,
watched his
Hogan
friend
was
get the
wrong.
crab kick.
Bro, if you
Hogan
were
is
getting-
always the heel. I don't care. And he put his hand on her ass at SummerSlam.
We
Hogan's
saw it.
always the heel in this situation.
We saw
if
it.
you were
Elizabeth
there
was hurt.
with
He
your
was
girl,
taking care of her.
if you were there with
Yeah.
your girl, Albert, getting your ass beat, right? And I picked up your girl and walked away with her, at least to save her. Come on,
I
bro.
would have said, hey, Tristan, real nice of you, but you kind of could have gotten one of the 17 referees that were hanging back there and helped me not get the shit kicked out of me. by two 300-pound men.
Many EMTs and doctors we have in the back
Yes,
could have
thank
helped.
you. It
Don't
didn't
let
have
it
to be big
Hogan was
Hulk Hogan.
6'7". He has strong arms. He could take her to the back faster.
But he
than
could have
any
come
of
back though. He could have laid.
He didn't, exactly. He didn't
Yeah.
come back. He didn't drop her back off and go, okay, I'm going to go hang out with my friend now. No, he just sat there with her the whole time while his best friend got the crap kicked out of him by two 300-pound men that hated Hogan more than Savage. He was
But wait
fighting
a minute,
Hogan's battles.
But Hogan had to make sure that she could take that leg drop, brother. He had to make sure
That's
that was
true.
all right.
And on top of that, he had to make sure that she was okay. Excuse me, that Hogan thought that the Macho Man, the Savage, could handle himself. And if you want to talk about the referees, and he's getting beat up by two guys, well, why didn't the referees do something about this, huh? You want to talk about the refs doing their job? They should have done their job.
You're right. They should have done their job and picked up Miss Elizabeth from the floor and brought her to the backstage area.
Listen, I
And then he said the N-word.
I didn't
guy,
even know.
sorry.
I didn't even hear the context
Terry
of that.
Bollea said it.
Oh, that
Terry
because of Hogan. Yeah,
Bollea
that makes
said
sense. I also don't think it was appropriate for Hogan to take her in the back, give her mouth to mouth. That was unnecessary. And then a mammogram. It was really too much.
He was checking for lumps.
Let me tell you something. If I'm getting
Go ass to mouth.
let
Want to
me
make
tell you
sure her
something.
bump card wasn't filled.
If I'm getting jumped, don't save my girl. Don't save my girl.
Let her ass get beat too.
So you
You
want your
have
girl to
no
get beat up?
loyalty to my girl. You're not gonna have me get stomped out. Then you're gonna take her away with her adrenaline running to put you in the perfect position to smash. Leave her there. If she gets hit, that's on her. She needs to run away. You need to be saving me.
She
Leave
should be
her
able to
alone.
defend herself anyway.
Leave her alone. Don't touch
You're
my
saying-
girl.
It
You're
was
saying-
chivalry.
Don't
Chivalry.
touch- It's dead. Leave my girl alone. Don't touch her.
So Deceive, what you're saying with the mouth that you put food in is that you wanted Hulk Hogan to pick up Macho Man and leave Miss Elizabeth right there?
She can walk. She got legs.
She's not a competitor. She's
Yeah.
not a competitor.
Listen.
Leave her
They
alone.
not
Ringside.
hitting you. They hitting me. Walk away. Pick me up. Put me over your
Yeah,
shoulder.
I mean,
need help.
she took one bump. It wasn't like they hit her over the head with a brick. You know, she's gonna be fine.
Right.
Can I just quickly
You
play
know that.
devil? Can I just play devil's advocate for just a second?
Go ahead, AJ.
Given the situation, if my wife was the one that Hogan was picking up instead of me, my wife would have slapped him and said, "Get off me, go get him."
Right?
So that's you got a
Not
good
for
woman
nothing.
there.
That's
Wait,
right.
wait.
That's
Is
Let's
right.
put
your
Elizabeth.
wife
Let's put
Hispanic?
a little bit on Elizabeth. Is all I'm saying.
Well, but
let
then somebody will say if Randy didn't treat her that way, she wouldn't have done that. But that's neither here nor there.
AJ,
But-
if you had a wife, I'm not sure if you had a wife.
I've
Would
had a
she-
wife for 22 years.
Okay, is she Hispanic?
Very much so. Yeah.
Oh, she-
Thank you. No further questions. No
Well,
further
see,
questions.
that's the thing. My fiance was born in Chile, so I mean, in all honesty, I'm not.
Did she have a
worried about
sweater?
her. She's gonna beat the crap out of anybody that's gonna come near
No,
her.
Steve.
So.
Well,
No.
hold on. The argument wasn't the woman being Hispanic
Absolutely
because
not.
we know in that scenario she would have been shanking people anyway. That's beyond the point.
Yeah.
The
I grew up with a lot of
scenario
Hispanic
here
women. I
is
know that.
Caucasian, and that's what
And
we're going
and who did Macho Man go with right after Elizabeth was done? It's a sensational Sherry. Somebody who was what
Thicker
is
than a
it?
Snicker?
Was Sherry
Wanna talk
running
about
around,
toxic
falling
relationship.
down? No, Sherry was jumping on people's backs. She was climbing on top
Talking
of
on
cages.
That's right.
No, but Harry
He
brings
got
up
himself
good
a
point.
real
No,
woman.
Harry brings up a really good point because what happened? Sherry started beating up Macho Man after WrestleMania 7, and he didn't beat the Ultimate Warrior. But then Elizabeth came to save him. So under your logic, you should have saved Macho Man. She should have just let him get beaten up because that's
Elizabeth.
Yeah, she didn't
Sure.
save nobody. She walked out and made people cry.
I mean, his pride was hurt, but it wasn't in
Yeah.
physical danger from Sherry just
Yeah,
those couple kicks over there.
Really. I mean, he would have just walked away and would have been like, "All right, can you please stop hitting me now?" And then just walked away from this situation if Liz didn't show up. Let's not pretend she's some big hero.
No, Sherry. This was
put
Miss
more on
Elizabeth's chance to run back into the relationship. She rebounded. She goes, "This is my chance. I
Because
messed
she
up."
knew she saved Savage that day because she knew that she was wrong for flirting with Hogan and to fill his head with the idea that maybe he had a chance with her.
And here's what happened. She thought she was going to get with Hogan, and Hogan goes, "That's not going to work for me, brother. I got to worry about this championship belt. I don't got time to drag you around." And then she got nobody. And then she had to sit there for 2 years. And
Then he said, no, Terry Bollea. This is Terry Bollea.
well, that also happened. What happened? Actually, I know what happened. Is backstage, Hogan kept saying he has a 9-inch cock, and then when they got together, she's like, "This only looks like 6 inches," and she goes, "Well, Hulk Hogan has a 9-inch cock. Terry Bollea, it's not. It's not." And then she
So,
was like, "Oh shit,
It's
I
a
better call Macho
it's a
Man.
turgid 4.
I better call Macho Man." And she's like, Sherry answers like Royal Palace or whatever, and then that was it. And then the second Sherry was done, she was like, "Oh, finally, it's my chance to get back in with the Macho Man."
Gave her a Turkish
you're
delight.
saying he doesn't have a 9-inch python. Got it.
There you go. So I think we found the most toxic relation.
This collection of people.
This show is a very toxic. Yes.